Hey guys, my name is Aster Haku, and God is saying to you today that it's usually not you nor them causing the arguments in this world. Ephesians 6:12 says that, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, you and me, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness." Here's a better version. Ephesians 6:12 reads, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, against you and me, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." And he's calling for me to tell you guys about this one because this verse completely changed my life, and it'll change your life too if you can understand exactly what it is and what is going on, which is probably why they're going to get really loud around me right now. But basically, when we die and go to heaven in the spiritual realm, I have full faith in this, by the way, so it's just a fact. When you die and go to the spiritual realm, you go to a place called purgatory, either purgatory or heaven, or you go to a spiritual realm, basically, another realm. And in this realm, you see, everyone on earth has a spirit, everyone has a soul. You know, it isn't even just biblical stuff. We all know that we have spirits and souls. You know, our ancestors knew this. You know, we have spirits and souls. And the thing is, our spirits are extremely powerful. You know, humans are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? So, we're stronger than we think, actually. We have powers in this realm to literally not only manifest things, but to literally, like, manipulate and change things. If you wanted to do things like the evil way and manipulate people, you really could. You know, humans have a free will on this earth, and so some people die and they go to the spiritual realm and they choose to, instead of follow God and instead of, you know, obey His commandments, you know, they choose to abuse their powers. And, you know, they choose to make people walk away from the truth and try and lead them away from the things that actually matter in this earth. And, you know, because they're miserable. And so, you know, they decide that, you know, to abuse their spiritual powers for horrible things. And that's why it says against the rulers, authorities, and powers of this dark world, because there are people on the other side, good and bad, with authority. We all have spiritual authority in this world to influence other spirits. And so when you go into this realm, you can either choose Jesus Christ, or you can choose purgatory, or the dark world, or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, you know, the dark force. I call it Pandora's box offer, because it really is Pandora's box offer there when you're with Jesus Christ, because everyone has powers. We all awaken, and, you know, and people just choose to abuse those powers. Therefore, you know, like, you'll notice that if you, first of all, I'm talking like a lot about this and not getting to the point. Like, you'll notice though that the more you like argue with people, you'll realize that a lot of the times you don't even feel like arguing in the moment. You know, you don't choose to argue in the moment, right? The argument kind of just happens, and the reason it happens is because there are powers on the other side, people with, you know, powers who basically resurrected and evolved in the other world, and they have spiritual powers that God gave them. Humans are fearfully and wonderfully made. Why? Because we literally have powers of angels. That's why I use my authority given to me by Jesus Christ to pray and to manifest good things into this earth, because I'm allowed to. You know, we're allowed to manifest good things and to use our authority for good things. But the problem is that some people abuse that power. And they abuse it because they want to become kings, or they want to become super powerful demons with demonic energies and powers and stuff, because Satan tempts them to do that. And so, you know, it's tempting to, you know, for these people. They want to have the power and the money and the riches, and they want to become like super demonically strong. And some of these people, if you looked at them now after they died, like, you wouldn't even be able to recognize them, man. Like, they're not even human anymore, some of them. And it's like, because Satan, you know, has all the bells and whistles and stuff on him. Well, he got so prideful that he wanted to convince these people that, hey, it's a great idea to become a demon, man, because, you know, like, and this is not, by the way, but, you know, he's convincing these people it's a good idea to have demonic powers. And so these people abuse their powers. They choose to get, you know, they choose to buff themselves up with demonic forces and stuff that Satan allows, but God doesn't allow. And So they basically access illegal powers, and so these people, instead of using those powers for good and manifestation for good and helping of humanity, they choose instead to manipulate people into believing lies, into believing not Jesus Christ and God. And you know, that's why Ephesians 6:12 says the battle is not against flesh and blood. It's not against you and me or even our own flesh. It's against people abusing their powers, starting random conversations with people, you know, creating distractions, creating things that aren't even fair to us, but they will distract us from the truth in any kind of stupid way they can. And I'm basically snitching on them at this point. They call me a rat all the time, so, but it's worth it because you guys deserve to know. Because if you know this, then you can avoid 99% of arguments on planet Earth. Because you'll realize, hey, that's not a human being, that's someone, a demon, or someone in a human being, a spirit trying to abuse them, probably our ancestors who didn't believe in Jesus. You know, I got Buddhist ancestors because I'm a Filipino. So, and you know, these ancestors, they're wicked as hell, and so they literally, until they go to hell, you know, God is extremely patient with them, but they abuse their powers while they're still alive, basically, while they're still alive. And you know, God has limits, but you know, he also has to give them free will so they can turn to God and be saved, because they all have a real purpose in God's kingdom, in the universe, and they just choose to abuse their purpose. Like, for example, I've been talking a lot about these artists you need to pray about. You know, I'm an artist, by the way, mind you guys. My name is SPLE, nice to meet you guys. And there's some artists on the other side of the spiritual realm that hate me. I'm not gonna expose them right now, because it would make me sound crazy probably, and it's a long story. It's been going on for like 4 years now. But basically, people see us in this realm living in the future, and so they're mad at us because, oh, we didn't get money back in the 1800s, but these guys are in 2026 and they're living it up, and they're eating food and getting money, and you know, they're walking around with the white girls and stuff, and you know, and so they get mad at that, and they choose to abuse their powers, because, I mean, why not, I guess, right? I mean, like, you can't force them. You know, you can't force anyone in this world. We all have free will, so I can't say anything to them except, like, God bless them, you know, and have mercy on their souls. You know, God have mercy on our souls. But, you know, the truth is that, they can choose to abuse their powers and anytime they want. And when you die, you do go to a realm. It's not just heaven, you can go to purgatory, and you know, and it's basically just blackness and Pandora's box on that side. And so when they stray away from God, when even in that realm you can still turn to Jesus, but when you willingly stray away from God, then it's like Pandora's box out there, and there's a bunch of dark forces and corrupt, unclean spirits out there that try to hijack you and try to make you part of them, and they try to steal your vessel, your body. It's a long story. There's dark rulers in the other worlds. You know, think of the Hitlers of the world, man, and the people who died and realized, oh, hey, I'm still alive? Oh, that's great. And then, yeah. So, I'm in a homeless shelter right now. There's an argument every single freaking day in this place. And why? It's because I know Ephesians 6:12 says, the battle's not against us. It's not because they want to argue. No one in this homeless shelter wants to argue. But there's people who died in the 1800s and 1900s and stuff who look at this homeless shelter as a freaking demonic playground. And so they decide to make us argue. They try to wake us up arguing. They try to get us to argue and fight each other. They try to get people to fight me because I know the truth. And, you know, and it's just not fair. And they try to put loud music behind us and around us so that I get silenced. But they're not going to be able to silence it for long because, guess what, guys? We're in the end times, and the spiritual veil is lifted, and it's not going to last forever. So just know. But until it's gone, you know, forever, until the wicked people are gone forever, there was my napkin. You know, he gave us Ephesians 6:12 for you guys to go and study. You know, for the battle is not against the flesh and blood. It's not against you and me. It's against the rulers, the authorities, the powers of the dark world, and the spiritual forces of evil, and the people who want immense power for no reason, basically. So they try to steal the power from people and steal their abilities and steal their futures and their destinies, and then they try to cover it up with arguments and stupid shit. So just know, and fighting and more arguments, and then and so once you realize that, you can, people are still, like, some of them are just gonna be angry and wicked, and they're just gonna want to argue with you for no reason anyways. They're just gonna want to fight you, they're gonna want to fight me, and for saying this, and so they'll try, but you can pray to God and Jesus Christ, and He'll save you from, these people abuse their free will, so you could still pray to God, and these guys will still try to fight you sometimes. I'll be honest, okay? They've tried to fight me plenty of times, and I pray to God, and then they just rebel. So, but at the end of the day, God is King, God is Lord, and Jesus Christ is King, and so they will be punished at some point, eventually, if they keep on trying to destroy you guys and trying to defeat you, keep on trying to keep us in a homeless shelter. There are consequences to those things, but the Bible does say in Ephesians 6:12, it's a thing, and if you believe in the Bible, which I completely believe in the Bible, like, I guarantee you, there's probably not, like, I'm pretty sure there's not a single verse in the Bible that's actually contradictory. I feel that way, and that's an opinion for another time, but I don't think there's anything in the Bible that's genuinely contradictory. But anyways, like, there are forces that try to distract us at all times. They tried to distract us with stupid things like drugs, and I was a weed smoker for a long time, and alcoholism, anything that they crashed out for, they try to make us crash out with in the same way. So whether it's, I don't know, gayness, man, no offense, or like drugs or alcohol or arguing overly and being out of control basically and fighting, like, like, just like yapping, like, whatever it is, they'll try to get us into it too. So you just gotta be, careful out there and put on the full armor of God, put on the shield of faith, helmet of salvation, the belt of truth, which is that they're there, and shoes of peace, man, the gospel of peace. As long as you have God, you'll have the peace that surpasses all understanding. And anytime these demons try to attack you and get you guys arguing, you can tell God, hey God, I don't want to argue. I pray these demons stop what they're doing, because you have authority to do that. I command the demons to stop. I command the ways to be still in Jesus' mighty name. So, I command that their assignments be canceled in Jesus' mighty name, sir. Because they're angels, and angels are lower in authority than humans. That's why they get mad at us, because they turn to demons, because they want to be able to fuck humans and shit, and they want to do demonic stuff, so they become demons. And they have powers, they abuse their powers, they rank up, they rack up powers constantly at all times, trying to become more powerful so they can make people feel weaker, basically. And once you realize that's a real thing going on, like, I challenge you guys today, man, to, anytime someone tries to argue with you, just calm down for a second, just pause it there, and if you can, even, like, really try your hardest, like, fight against it, because it's a spiritual warfare, guys. Like, fight against it this time, and don't argue. On purpose. Choose purposefully not to argue with them. And then just see what they do. Because I guarantee you, like, the veil's gonna lift right off your eyes, man, which is God's plan. That's been God's plan all along. So I'm here to tell you guys, hopefully I'm not the first one, but hey, I'm one of them. So nice to meet you guys. We're Earth Angels. We can, we all have authority and powers to get out this place and out the homeless shelter and stuff, but they're definitely gonna try and distract us the entire time. So don't get distracted. Don't let them catch you off guard. Don't let them take you off guard. Don't let them mess with you. Because they do whatever they can. If they can fearmonger you, if they can death threaten you, they will. If they can threaten you, they will. They can, like, they're basically the most ghetto people on planet Earth is these demons, man. So, like, you just gotta avoid them and trust God, and You know, because they're evil, man. The more you focus on these demons, this is what happened to Juice WRLD, man. The more you focus on these demons, the more they literally like try to fight you and argue with you just for it. Because Juice WRLD, yeah, he talked about God, but he talked a lot about demons. He talked a lot about all my demons getting the best of me and stuff, and so they literally fought to get the best of him. Like, so you just gotta ignore them. Like, have, you know, I challenge you guys to work on your mental strength, you know, and because the stronger your mind is and your mental is, the stronger you can avoid stuff like that and focus on what you need to focus on and your goals, you know. Like, they're just trying to distract you from your goals, man, from your goals, because like because I'm trying to become a rapper, I'm a game developer, you know, a bunch of other things, like an artist and like an author, and you know, so they see those things. It's like it's really like crabs in a bucket, man. They try to pull you back out when you try to climb out, and so they want me to crash out and become like them and start arguing and yapping and being loud, you know, and stuff. And it's not gonna work, because at the end of the day, Ephesians 6:12 is the truth, and the more you know that and realize that, like the more you realize it, and like if you realize it, you could literally stop 99% of arguments on planet Earth. Like, that's why they don't want you to know about Ephesians 6:12. So Ephesians 6:12, guys. The battle's not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, authorities, the powers of this dark world, and the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. There's a light world and there's a dark world. Choose light world, because you can choose to avoid all that and focus on your goals, and you will reach the peak of the mountaintop without getting arrogant. You know, you just need God and Jesus Christ to, like, yeah, they'll try their damned hardest to, you know, get you off your kilter and stuff. Now, especially now that you know, if you heard this, then they'll really try. They really tested me, but like, they're wicked. You know, they don't care about being nice or being accommodating to people or anything. Misery just loves company, and so, you know, if they can get somebody to fight or crash out or to fight you or to talk shit about you or to get you to talk shit about somebody, anything that's considered a sin, like, they will try it. So just know there's more to this world than meets the eye, and just once you realize that and recognize it, that's literally how you open your third eye, is by realizing that the spiritual realm exists, and you can either go to heaven or to purgatory, and you don't die in purgatory until you are too wicked for God to save you. Which is why these people are allowed to basically torture me, you know, into like nearly crashing out. And it's partially unfair, but it's like fair, because like God is racking up evidence on all of them at all times. And, you know, at some point they will be punished for it. You know, God just wants them to think that God is stupid, so that, you know, they expose themselves. But at the end of the day, like, God is greater and Jesus Christ wins, and I'm not going to hell. It is, you know, at all. So yeah, guys, just have some discernment, you know, spiritual discernment. The more you look around and see these things, the more you realize that, like, it's not even us that's arguing. It's mostly just demons in front of us and trying to get in our way. So, like, focus on your goals and the good things in life and the things that make you genuinely happy. I'm not talking about, like, coke and shit, but, like, you know, like, maybe a little wine or something, you know, and a little Chardonnay or some shit in moderation, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, just don't let them take you off kilter, man. Don't let them crash you out. And once you realize that, the world, like, once you realize that, you can become stronger as a person and mentally, and the world just gets so much better when you realize it's not you causing the arguments. It's not them either, most, like, 99% of the time. You guys just get angry, and then the demons in us wake up, and then we decide, oh, I'm gonna do some fuck shit today, which is not really us, it's the demon in us, you know? So just once you realize that Like, that's why I see the higher self in everybody, because everyone is capable of transcending this. And even these demons who are around me right now, they're capable of turning back to Jesus Christ and transcending it. The only reason they don't is because they have to pay the fines for what they did while they were outside of God's will. So, if you follow God now, you know, and it's like, I promise you, man, it's so much easier to, to just accept that life is a little bit difficult, right, and to just do the hard things now, right, and just, you know, accept that this world is deeper than we think it is. People saying it's not that deep is, like, the most, like, the worst attack of all time, because once you feel like it's not that deep, then you stop thinking about what if it is that deep. And that's how they got away with this for 2026 years. And it's not for long, because spirits and people are awakening. It's over with. So I'm just saying, you know, I'm here because I have to tell you the truth, because I know the truth, and I'd get in trouble if I didn't tell you guys the truth. So the truth is, yeah, demons are real and God is greater. But don't let the demons attack, man. You know, don't. You know, Juice WRLD was right, but at the same time, don't let the demons overtake you. And, you know, stay close to God, and that's how you avoid those attacks. You know, it also says in the Bible, be vigilant. Be vigilant, for the devil walks around like a roaring lion, seeking someone whom he can devour. And that's how that happens. So, you know, we're meant to be cycle breakers. We're meant to show our ancestors that it's possible to live a life without all that in the year 2026. And they don't want that. They don't even want that. But God is trying to show them that, you know. So, that's why I'm here. And, like, it's difficult, but it's also, like, it's not that difficult, because I can rest still. I can, like, you know, I'll get my rest, you know what I mean? And it's like, there's benefits to knowing these things, guys, you know? It's like, it is a lot to think about at some point, but I'd rather you guys know the truth than stay in darkness, you know, because, like, for real, I wake up in this shelter and I see an argument every single day, and I see them trying to kick me out this place into the freezing cold every single day because I know the truth. You know, they tried to crash my laptop before I made this video, and, like, they'll really do anything they can to try and either kill you, you know, like, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. If they can steal your destiny for being a basketball player or a baseball player or whatever, they will. If they can, and they'll give it to someone else who's wicked. And that's why you gotta fight and be a warrior and fight for yourself, because, yeah, you know, it's like, they don't want you to know about this, which is why they get really loud when you talk about it. But, you know, just keep fighting, guys, and keep being you, because God wants you guys to succeed and to reach your highest selves and to reach your highest potential. You know, if you have a dream in your heart to be something, man, like I was a rapper and artist, I'm a rapper and artist, man, you know, and all this, like, if it's there, then God placed that dream in your heart for a reason. They just don't want you to believe it, so they lie to you, and they feed you lies, and they get people to yap at you about it, and they get people arguing with you, and they try to get you in fights to discourage you and get you depressed. You know, they've tried that before. They've tried to jump me and beat me up and try to get me so depressed that I stopped being a rapper and an artist and shit. And like, just, you know, it's just gonna keep on happening until something shits, basically, you know. So just be a warrior for God, man, and, you know, it's so much better that way. I promise you, it's so much better on the other side, man. God, you know, I agree with Will Smith. Unfortunately, I agree with Will Smith when he said that God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. So have no fear, man. Like, the less you fear it, the more you keep walking. Fearlessness is not the absence of fear, it's the ability to keep walking despite the fear. So if you could just keep on walking, and just don't talk to the demons, don't let him buy you up, don't let him get you to regress, you know, don't let him try and catch you outside and all that. Feel me? It's like, if you can not do that, if you can avoid the snakes and the demons, man, then I promise you, your life will be so much better, bro. Just avoid the snakes, man. Just, God's got you, man. God loves you guys. Peace.